Hello, my name is Oliver Bowes. Now, mental illness is a lifelong, long-term condition which affects the brain of the person who has mental illness, and the actual condition causes a mental illness in the brain which causes a person's personality to become distorted, and medication can stabilize this condition in the brain that causes mental illness. And mental illness is a very misunderstood subject by the public. There's lots of stigma surrounding mental health and mental health difficulties and mental illness itself in society today. And psychology can go so far to help the person with mental illness, and so can medication. Medication is the first priority to help control a mental illness, and the second one should always be psychology, which should come at the same time as the person is getting better from the mental condition using medication in hospitals. Many NHS hospitals in the so-called United Kingdom do not use much psychology with people with mental illnesses to help them, these patients with mental illnesses, to get better. They only use medication, and psychology is usually not applied with the patient's recovery, which is a failure for the United Kingdom once again in the mental health authority within the NHS in the so-called Great Britain. This is a failure for the mental health office in this country, in the so-called Great Britain. And as I was saying, psychology is a way to get the patient better, not just medication. Now, in a long line of techniques dealing with mental illness, some have been successful and some have not, when psychologists have applied these techniques with their patients. Patients with such illnesses such as bipolar, type 1, type 2, borderline personality disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, catatonic schizophrenia, and split personality disorder, which all come under the long line of illnesses which are governed by chronic paranoid schizophrenia. And when a mental health patient goes into psychosis, when they become mentally unwell, it can be a very upsetting time for the patient and the people around them. Now, with this technique I'm going to give today, I have used a few times in the past, and I've only used it when absolutely necessary to control my mental health, because I have mental illness, and this is my technique, which I've used a few years ago a few times, which I've written about in one of my books. Now, the thing with mental illnesses is it's very difficult to control, but with psychology and medication at the same time, you can get better to a certain degree and become mentally stable and live a perfectly normal life like anyone else who has not got mental illness. Now, the thing is to do this when you're feeling emotional, when you're feeling very emotional, and you're feeling very upset or angry, it is good to recognize this within yourself and accept you've got a problem, because the first step to recovery in mental health is to accept you've got a problem, a mental problem. Now, some patients in the NHS go a long time without noticing they have a problem, or not willing to accept they have a mental illness, to get better, to become stable again, like a normal person in society, what you would call a normal person who is stable in society. And the thing to do is to accept all the negative things about you, It is good to say to yourself that I accept I am angry, I accept I am negative, I accept I am upset, I accept I am wrong about myself, I accept all this, I accept I am untrue, I am not committed to myself. I don't believe in myself. I am untrue to myself. I have no faith whatsoever. I am never faithful to myself. I admit this. I know this. I believe in this right now. I accept this right now. I know this right now. I admit it right now. And remember all those things I said. Now to say those things out aloud to yourself with no one around you will bring an understanding within yourself that you know you are wrong and you know you are unwell. And with all these words you will accept within yourself that you are unwell. And to accept you are unwell is a first step to recovery, with affirmations saying all these negative things about yourself out aloud by yourself when no one is around you, when you're in a really emotional state. To accept all these negative things about you will bring about a change within yourself. Because the first step to recovery in mental health, remember, once you accept you've got a problem, then that's when you will change. Because by accepting yourself, you will change. And it will bring understanding to you within yourself, in your psychological personality, in your psychological self, that you accept that you are wrong about yourself, that you accept you have a problem, that you accept you are unwell, and that you accept you know this. And this will bring about a change within yourself once you said all these things to yourself. You do not need to repeat these things. You have to understand the words as you say them out aloud to yourself. And understanding yourself will bring about this change, and your mental health will prosper, and you will become more calmer, more positive, more joyful, more happy, more well in your mind, your mental health, and your psychological self will flower in a positive way, in a strong way. By identifying you have a problem, you will get better. Because with acceptance comes change, and with change becomes knowledge. An understanding of yourself and your mental health, and you will gain inner strength within yourself by saying these words to yourself and understanding them, truly understanding that these things are true about you, that you are negative, that you are unwell, and your failing in your personality will change. Your understanding of yourself will grow stronger and more positive in the right direction. With great knowledge comes understanding, and with great understanding comes great knowledge. If you doubt yourself, then you are disowning yourself, your own feelings, your own emotions, your own self, your own personality. If you don't trust in yourself, you're not trusting that you will gain strength one day and that you will change. But by accepting the negative things about yourself will change your life, because you are taking a step in the right direction by acknowledging you have a problem, a mental problem, and that's when change will happen within you once you acknowledge this, because this is a first step into positive mental health, to direct the way you feel, to become less emotional, to become less negative, to become more positive and strong in your personality, so you can gain strength in your personality to make the right decisions in life, and to understand that not all decisions are right, but you accept you can handle things when you get things wrong. You accept you can handle things when you get things wrong. Once you've overcome the step of negativity, you change to positive. And once you accept you are positive, then you are in control of yourself and your personality and your mental health. Understanding yourself is a good step in life. With positive knowledge and understanding of yourself, you'll respect your mental health and other people around you, and your mental health will further in the right direction in life. So doing this exercise by admitting all these wrong things about yourself, now understanding the words I have said in this psychological exercise, you can role play yourself into the same way of thinking in the affirmations that I have given, the negative affirmations that you speak out aloud about yourself to change your personality, to control yourself mentally in a conscious way, a self-conscious way, will bring about this change within yourself, because you are accepting yourself that you have a problem, a mental problem. You accept you have a mental problem, and this is what brings a changing process to begin in this next stage of your mental health. And the next stage of your mental health is to understand, and therefore you accept, and therefore you change, and therefore you are positive, and you overcome your mental health issue. So design your own words around what I said in this video regarding the affirmations I gave before about the negative affirmations. And these negative affirmations can be changed slightly in your own way of thinking to help you change your personality by accepting the negative things about yourself and going along the same basis as I've described these affirmations and this idea I'm giving in this video to accept your personality and change it through the acceptance. And the knowing of yourself will change in your life, and your mental health will prosper in a positive direction in life, and you will gain control of your personality in a mental health way. Now, this is a very powerful psychological technique that I came up with a few years ago. It only comes in use for me when I really need it. And I never really use this technique much because I've overcome lots of issues in my life regarding my mental health. But everyone has mental issues regardless if they have mental illness or not. Everyone has a stress factor in their life at one point in their life, a stress factor, a strong stress factor. Because mental illness is a misunderstood subject in society, and society in the United Kingdom and the rest of the world should understand that mental illness is not an abnormal thing. You shouldn't run away from mentally ill people. You should understand that these people have a mental issue, and that anyone can have a mental issue. If they think too much, if they meditate too much, if they turn to drugs or alcoholism, or have had bad childhoods, people with mental illness have a cause of their mental illness. The cause of their mental illness could be a bad childhood. It could be to do with drug issues or losing someone they love. Mental issues can be genetic in families. It can be a genetic disorder passed down through generations. Mental illnesses like catatonic schizophrenia, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, bipolar, post-traumatic stress disorder, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, borderline personality disorder, and bipolar, and chronic paranoid schizophrenia. Split personality disorder is a very recognized thing in today's society. But some mental illnesses are rare, like catatonic schizophrenia and split personality disorder. But the main illnesses like bipolar, obsessive compulsive disorder, and attention deficit hyperactive disorder are very common today and becoming more popular and well known in the United Kingdom and the rest of the world. Now, mental illness is a strong subject. It's a subject that's misunderstood by many people, and the thing about mental illness is that it can be misdiagnosed. It can be misdiagnosed, it can be treated wrongly, it can be treated in the right way or the wrong way by psychiatrists and doctors alike. And this is all I have to say today on this video, on this last video on How to Direct the Way You Feel by Oliver Bowe's mental health documentary. So I hope you all have good mental health. And as this video comes to an end now, I'd like to say thank you to the good people who care about people with mental illnesses, and also for people who do not understand mental illness, who tend to walk away from people with mental illness and have a wrong idea about them, like some idea that they think they are less a human being. All I have to say to them today is it is good to grow up in your mind. It is good to grow up in life. It is good to understand things about other people. It is good to understand that all illnesses are serious, like cancer, AIDS, and mental illness. Just because it's a personality problem, mental illness, it doesn't mean you have to walk away from someone who is not well mentally. You don't need to think they are lesser than you because they have mental illness. Otherwise, what does that make you? Because really, everyone's a human being, everyone's born the same way. Doesn't matter if they've got cancer or a mental illness, but it does matter because it's a serious illness, just like any other illness, mental illness. But because it's a personality problem, people treat it differently in society today all around the world, mental illness and schizophrenia. So I hope people learn who do not understand schizophrenia and mental illness and all associated illnesses regarding schizophrenia and mental illness. I hope people understand they do not need to walk away from people who've got mental illness. To understand them better and maybe give them a helping hand, to understand they do not need to worry and that it's all in their mind, it's all in their heads, what they're thinking, these people with mental illnesses. And maybe that will spread a bit of light within people in the society today and give them a helping hand in the right direction in their mental health and discover themselves even more so in a positive frame of mind, in a positive mental health, and understanding and acceptance and knowledge about themselves and other people.